marching along, I got confidence. I'm cooler than a pack of peppermints, and I haven't been this excited since I can't remember when. I'm off on this remarkable adventure, just riding on a rainbow. What if it's all a big mistake? What if it's more than I can take? No, I can't think that way, 'cause I know that I'm really, really, really gonna be okay. Hey, I'm not giving up today. There's nothing getting in my way. And if you knock me over, I will get back up again. Oh, if something goes a little wrong, well, you can go ahead and bring it on. 'Cause if you knock me over, I will get back up again. Get up, oh, 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 get back up again. Get up, oh, 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 I'm okay. Get up, oh, 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 and if you knock me over, you knock me over, I will get back up again.
From the sky to the sea, to the air that we breathe, from the depths of the earth to the stars.
Light up the world, light up the world. Run like you're born to fly. Live like you'll never die. Dare what you dare to dream, and everything in between.
I had an epiphany one night, looking at the endless star-filled sky. The world is ours. The world is ours.
The world is
The world is ours.
I've always been the kind of girl that hid my face, so afraid to tell the world what I've got to say. But I have this dream right inside of me. I'm gonna let it show. It's time to let you know, and to let you know. This is real, this is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. Gonna let the light shine on me. Now I found who I am. There's no way to hold it in. No more hiding who I wanna be. This is me.
breaking through those barriers big and small. Achieving our potential is the ultimate goal. We're the game changers with the future to mold. Using our influence to make a difference. Taking our risks and showing our resilience.
We lead the change we wanna see. With our grit, honor and integrity, we turn purpose into action. Catalyst that sparks a reaction.
Using our influence to make a difference. Taking our risk, showing our resilience.
Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, the passion that drives. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, the passion that drives us. Transform FFA. Transform FFA. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, the passion that drives. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, the passion that drives. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, the passion that drives us. Transform FFA. Transform FFA.
Using our influence to make a difference. Taking our risks and showing our resilience.
Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, the passion that drives. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, the passion that drives us. Transform FFA. Transform FFA.
Please stand as Marley Finley of the Altoona Midway FFA chapter and Maria Kimsey of the Fredonia FFA chapter present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
My name is Michael Adami. I am an agricultural education student here at K-State. I am from Fallbrook, California, proudly representing the Fallbrook FFA. When asked why I chose Kansas and why I came out here from California, it was simply that this is where agriculture is. I come from an area where agriculture, it's really not hip or cool to be in agriculture. I'm kind of a reverse story. Most people try and get out and go to California, go to the beaches. I needed to get back to the roots. I needed to get back to the genuine people in Kansas. I needed to get back to where people actually will hold the door open for you, where people will see how your day is going and actually genuinely meaning it. That's what I absolutely love about Kansas. What I love about K-State is they truly care about you. They truly want you to succeed. One of the best times I've had is at football games. Everyone's sitting in the field, you're wabashing, you're just having a good time cheering on the Wildcats, getting excited when there's a touchdown. It's some of the best feeling in the world, especially when the whole stadium is yelling KSU Wildcats. There is no better feeling.
I feel like new sunglasses, like a brand new pair of jeans. I feel like taking chances. I feel a lot like 17. I feel like windows roll down new city streets and cabs. I feel like anything can happen, laughing. You take me right back when we were kids. Never thought I'd feel like this. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. Brand new. I feel like a young John Cusack, like making big mistakes. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I am not afraid. I feel like a kid. Never thought it'd feel like this. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. Time will always try to make us. Time will always try to make us. You remind me what I used to know. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground. Yeah. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new.
Development Event winner in the Ritual Division, the Bueller FFA chapter, to present this morning's opening ceremonies.
The convention hall will come to order. We are now holding the second session of the 89th Kansas State FFA Convention. Mr. Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Madam President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times, and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The Reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people, in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico, and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Mr. Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Madam President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
I am pleased to announce that there is 1,564 members, advisors, and guests registered, Madam President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this session of the 89th Kansas State FFA Convention duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented.
Let's give one more round of applause to the Bueller FFA chapter and a job well done. This session's chair can be found spending time with friends, laughing, or hiding behind random corners just to jump out and scare me. He has a heart that is full of service and compassion for others. You can turn to him if you are having a rough day, needing a paper edited, or just wanting a crazy adventure. Please join me in welcoming this session's chair and your Kansas FFA Sentinel, Mr. Trenton Smedley.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and good morning, Kansas FFA. This past year, I've learned a number of lessons. From my friends at SCCL, I learned that Warhead candies never actually turn sweet. Erie FFA members taught me to step out of my comfort zone every single day. Hayes FFA gave me a culinary lesson when they helped me make my first ever omelet, and Mission Valley members taught me that if you're too scared to swing the bat, you'll never score a run. I have learned so much from Kansas FFA members this past year. Growing up, a lot of my lessons were learned sitting on the bank of a lake with my eyes locked on a bobber that was peacefully resting on the surface of the water. Spending my summer evenings with a fishing pole in my hand taught me how to bait a hook, that you'll never catch anything if you aren't patient, and probably most importantly, to always wear bug spray. Now, as we cast our lines into the waters of the second general session of the 89th Kansas FFA Convention, we will get to meet the anglers looking to serve as 2017-2018 Kansas FFA officers as this year's state officer candidates are introduced. Kansas Farm Bureau will be joining us to present community grants, followed by the recognition of the chapters reeling in a big one in the Building Communities area of the National Chapter Award. We will hear from your 2016-2017 Kansas FFA Secretary, Grace Lubke, in the delivery of her retiring address. The Kansas FFA Foundation Board will be joining us this morning, and we will get to meet them later in this session. We will continue by honoring the members who have taken time to stock their leadership tackle boxes as we recognize the individuals excelling in the Leadership Information Competition and the KAAE Essay Contest. We will celebrate the agricultural educators who have received KACTE and KAAE awards. Members receiving SAE grants will also be honored. I have never been on a fishing trip where I didn't learn something valuable, and here to share a valuable lesson and some special remarks is National FFA Eastern Region Vice President Ashley Willits. And finally, before we pack up the gear and head out, we will get to meet a few members who have learned a few lessons of their own in their outstanding supervised agricultural experiences in the first half of this year's Proficiency pageant. So let's open up our minds to learn a lesson or two on this fishing excursion. Let's grab our poles, the bug spray, and the stringer, because the second general session of the 89th Kansas FFA Convention is jam-packed and the fish are biting. Let's cast our lines and see what all there is to catch right here in McCain Auditorium. As an FFA member who has sought to serve as an officer throughout my time, I've learned all about how to behave in an interview, the power of first impressions, how to fit a lot into a 2-minute speech, and that the most important thing is to just relax. Our next guests have spent months brushing up on their knowledge of FFA and the agriculture industry, preparing speeches, filling out applications, and participating in practice interviews as they pursue the opportunity to serve Kansas FFA members in the coming year. The lessons they have learned through their time as FFA members have qualified them to share their experiences with the Kansas FFA Association for a year of service. Please join me in welcoming this year's state officer candidates to the stage.
Hey Kansas FFA, I'm Aiden Carnes from the Marion Florence FFA chapter. Good morning, members, advisors, and guests of the Kansas FFA. My name is Skylar Denayo, and Hoxie is where I call home.
Hello, Kansas FFA. My name is Michaela Dieters, and I proudly represent the Sabetha FFA chapter.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Garrett Girk, and I come from the South Central FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. My name is Dale Hoke, and I am proudly representing the South Barber FFA chapter.
Hello, leaders in Corduroy. I'm Chrissy Isle, and I'm proudly representing the Coffeyville FFA chapter.
Good afternoon, Kansas FFA. I am John Kennedy, and I'm from the Jackson Heights FFA chapter.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie Liebarger from the Anderson County FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA members, advisors, and guests. I am Megan Nelson, and I proudly represent the Chapman FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. I'm Eli Oldie from the Clifton Clyde FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. I am Maria Rellis from the Hayes FFA chapter.
Welcome to the Convention Hall, Kansas FFA. I am Riley Slichter from the Abilene FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. My name is Quentin Umfenauer, and I'm proudly here on behalf of the Jayhawk Lynn FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. I'm Tel Whitmer, and I'm from the Holton FFA chapter.
Thank you once again for the dedication you have shown to Kansas FFA by choosing to transform your purpose into action as you run to become a Kansas FFA officer. We wish you the best of luck. In 2013, the Chiefs beat the Raiders, and Chiefs fans brought the title of loudest outdoor stadium in the world back to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. You better believe that I was in the stadium screaming along with the nearly 80,000 other fans who became record holders that day. The buzz was deafening, and no matter how loud I screamed, I could not hear myself. After the game, I tried to talk, but no noise was coming out. I learned that I had lost my voice. Luckily, the agriculture industry has a strong voice that the Kansas Farm Bureau works to protect. Farm Bureau is an advocate for the agricultural industry and works to build communities in rural America. FFA chapters also work to build communities, and with the help of Kansas Farm Bureau, this is possible. The monetary assistance provided to the chapters that we are about to recognize enables them to transform their purpose into action as they build communities. Funds provided by the Kansas Farm Bureau may be used to develop and implement a variety of community service projects. We are pleased to have Jill Cooten with us today to present certificates. Please, or Madam Secretary, will you please introduce those chapters who have received Kansas Farm Bureau community grants?
The chapters receiving Kansas Farm Bureau grants are the Chaparral FFA chapter, The Cimarron FFA chapter. The Clay Center FFA chapter. The Columbus FFA chapter. The Hayes FFA chapter. The Inman FFA chapter. The Riverton FFA chapter. The Royal Valley FFA chapter. The Solomon FFA chapter. And the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter. Let's give one more round of applause to the 2017 Kansas Farm Bureau grant winners.
As a Cub Scout many years ago, I had the chance to learn about carpentry. 4-year-old Trenton was all set to build the best birdhouse that there ever was. As my dad held the nail for me, I had a very simple job. Just hit the nail with the hammer. I'd take my first swing and completely miss the nail, smashing my dad's fingers. As he grimaces in pain, I try again, continuing to miss the nail. In that moment, I learned that maybe building birdhouses was not my calling. These next chapters may not be expert birdhouse builders, but they are expert community builders. The awards presented to these chapters are made possible by Farm Credit Associations of Kansas. Madam Secretary, please read the names of the chapters being recognized for their excellence in the building communities area of the National Chapter Award.
We are pleased to have this event sponsored by Brett Henderson of the Farm Credit Association. In the Bronze Division, the Elk Valley FFA chapter. And the Marmaton Valley FFA chapter. Join me in congratulating those chapters in the Bronze Division. In the Silver Division, the Altoona Midway FFA chapter. The Blue Valley FFA chapter. The Caney FFA chapter. The Cherryvale FFA chapter. The Clay Center FFA chapter. The Eureka FFA chapter. The Fairfield FFA chapter. The Fort Scott FFA chapter. The Hill City FFA chapter. The Inman FFA chapter. The Jefferson West FFA chapter. The McLouth FFA chapter. The Natoma FFA chapter. The Ness City FFA chapter. The Onega FFA chapter. The Republic County FFA chapter. The Rossville FFA chapter. The Sabetha FFA chapter. The Southern Coffee County FFA chapter. The Southern Lyon County FFA chapter. The Stanton County FFA chapter. The Tonganoxie FFA chapter. The Valley Heights FFA chapter. The Wamego FFA chapter. The West Elk FFA chapter. And the Winfield FFA chapter. Let's show our appreciation one more time for our Silver Division winners. Direct your attention to the screen to see highlights of the chapters in the Gold Division. And now for the chapters in the Gold Division of the National Chapter Award in the area of building communities. In 18th place is the Mission Valley FFA chapter. In 17th place is the Girard FFA chapter. In 16th place is the Jackson Heights FFA chapter. Placing 15th is the Russell FFA chapter. In 14th place is the Gossel FFA chapter. Earning 13th place is the Marysville FFA chapter. Receiving 12th place honors is the Marion Florence FFA chapter. In 11th place is the Royal Valley FFA chapter. Placing 10th is the Hugoton FFA chapter. In 9th place is the Hayes FFA chapter. Earning 8th place is the Hiawatha FFA chapter. Receiving 7th place is the Udall FFA chapter. In 6th place is the Chapman FFA chapter. Placing 5th is the Holton FFA chapter. Earning 4th place is the Riverton FFA chapter. In 3rd place is the Arkansas FFA chapter. In 2nd place is the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter. And the winner of the National Chapter Award in Building Communities is the Ellsworth FFA chapter. Congratulations to all of our winners. Please direct your attention to the screen as we highlight the winning chapter in the area of building communities.
The Ellsworth FFA chapter is the winner of this year's National Chapter Award in the area of building communities. During the school's Cancer Awareness Week, Ellsworth FFA members raised funds through selling T-shirts and a Kiss a Pig contest, with $1,000 donated to the county's Cancer Fund, dedicated to helping community members fighting the disease. The chapter organized the Feeding Our Community Challenge, which involved serving community meals and a food collection event held throughout the year, with the goal of lessening food insecurity and serving those in need. To bridge the gap between members and stakeholders, the Ellsworth chapter conducted a chapter meeting with alumni and current members present, then held an alumni softball tournament with current and past members competing against each other. This strengthened relationships and allowed members and alumni to exchange stories and experiences that they have had through the FFA. Ellsworth FFA has 60 members, and the advisor is Carl Stover. Congratulations to the Ellsworth FFA chapter for winning the National Chapter Award in the area of building communities.
Kansas FFA, please help me in welcoming David and Henry Lubke to the stage for a special introduction.
Our sister Grace. Where do I begin? We've always been competing, whether it was racing back to the car from the grocery store, showing in the ring, or later in FFA competitions. It's funny, as high as I think I set the bar, she's always found a way to surpass me and set it even higher. Whenever I meet someone new at K-State now, it's, oh, you're Grace's older brother. And it used to be whenever anyone met her, it was, oh, you're David's little sister. It's kind of funny how those kind of things change.
We can't even begin to tell you how proud we are to call you our sister. It'll be difficult to try and live up to the legacy and example that you have set, but I'll give it my best. You did an incredible job inspiring not only myself, but members all across the state, and we can't wait to watch you continue to excel and go on to do great things.
Congratulations on your year of service. Watching you grow and progress could not make me prouder as your older brother. Now, without further ado, let us introduce your Kansas FFA State Secretary and our sister, Grace Lubke.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes.
And was calling students up to the board one by one to begin their problems. I was pretty confident as I watched my classmates walk one by one up to that classroom to complete their problem. So when my name was called, I too sauntered up and started to work. Okay, 437. Carry the 3, drop the 5, divide by 2. No, hang on a second. There's got to be a remainder somewhere. All right, try again. 437. Carry the 3. 12 fits in there. Okay, one more time. 437. Got that. Drop the 3, carry the 5, divide by 2. Soon enough, I came to the conclusion that I couldn't do it. I didn't know the answer. An awkward silence had filled the classroom behind me, and as I turned back towards my teacher, I heard a voice pipe up from the back of the classroom. I thought you were supposed to be smart. Tears sprung to my eyes when I realized that I had failed, and I ran out of that classroom crying. We have all been faced with great expectations in our lives. It stings when we can't solve that problem, when we're told no, or we can't overcome whatever challenge is facing us. It hurts to fail. However, there's a difference between being a failure and failing. Now, I've been showing horses since I was about 10 years old, but I've never actually owned a horse of my own. For the last 8 years, I've been showing animals that belong to my 4-H leader and second mom, Linda Deaver. It was the morning of the county fair last year, and I was ready. This was one of the last shows that I would be eligible to compete in, and I had Linda's mare, Raina, washed, brushed, and shining. We were in it to win it, and I knew that I was going to get that purple ribbon. After the lunch break, I was most excited to enter in the speed events, especially barrel racing. As we walked into that arena, I could feel that Raina, chomping at the bit, was just as eager as I was. We raced off and rounded that first barrel, and then the second, and then the unthinkable happened. As I pulled Raina and tied around that barrel, my foot slipped in the stirrup, and I went tumbling to the ground. I heard a gasp from the crowd in the stands behind me, but as I did a quick assessment, I discovered that the only thing injured was my pride. So I got up, dusted myself off, and walked back over to my mare. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, but luckily they weren't close enough to see that the blush on my face was darker than my bay horse. In that moment, I had a decision to make. I knew that my fall meant an automatic scratch from the competition, and I was considering leading my mare out on foot so that I could use her big head to hide my own. Or I could choose to step back in the saddle and ride out of the arena.
even though I knew everyone would be watching me and whispering about me as I left. I felt like a total failure. I knew that all the younger members in the stands were looking up to me, and that Linda and my parents had expected me to do very well that day. And I had just fallen down in the dirt in front of them and a whole audience of people. I really didn't want to face any of them. I was done. And then I remembered one of the most important things that Linda had told me about horse training. When you fall, always get back on. In that moment, I stepped around my horse and put my foot back in the stirrup. I got back into the saddle and rode out of the arena to prepare for the next event that day. There are many instances where we fall off and fail, although perhaps not as literally as I did. Sometimes this is in the form of the large red F on that test we're handed back. Maybe it's not getting that job or scholarship that we worked so hard to secure. Each of us is going to fail many times within our lives. To fail is to be human, but by choosing to hide in our shame and walk out, we resign ourselves to being a failure. When we choose to push through the failing phase, we achieve true success, a feeling that can't be defined by trophies or the opinions of others, but a feeling we carry within ourselves. Think of a recent instance where you have failed to meet your goals. When we hit the ground hard, it may seem like our goals are out of reach, but have you made the conscious decision to get back in the saddle? Take a deep breath and tell yourself to get back on with your life. Now, in the end of my freshman year of high school, I, like many of you, decided to run for a chapter FFA office. I was excited when my voice was announced as Sentinel, but I spent the next year serving alongside a great team of guys, including my older brother David, our president. So when elections rolled around again in the spring, I was excited to run again. But everyone was whispering about who the next chapter president would be. There were only 3 returning officers who had the advantage of experience, and I certainly felt the pressure. Now, my chapter's elections work on a ranking system so that the highest ranked candidate has first choice of office, the second highest ranked has second choice, so on and so forth. So I turned in my application, presented my speech before the chapter, and went through those rounds of interviews, but deep inside myself, I knew I wouldn't get that coveted first rank when I thought about the qualifications of the other candidates. My friends Hadley and Jared were more confident and more outgoing. They were better at CDEs and, quite frankly, had more friends than I did. It was a week later when my advisor, Mrs. Gabbert, announced the officer slate ranking to the candidates. I was shocked when she announced my name in the first rank, but when asked what my choice of office was, I stammered, vice president, when all along I had coveted that president position. My equally deserving friend Hadley ended up accepting the presidency, and throughout that year, he did a wonderful job in office. But from that day and weeks afterwards, my friends, my advisors, even my family asked me again and again why I declined the presidency. I made up an excuse about wanting to be president in my senior year, but honestly, I feared, just like I thought I would, that I had only gotten that first rank because I was riding my older brother's coattails. Besides, I was too young and too shy to lead the meetings as president and would do well to excel in the role of vice president. Or so I told myself. Everyone else believed that I deserved the rank I earned, but it was my own insecurities that were holding me back from fulfilling that potential. Dr. Tim Elmore, the author of the Habitudes Leadership Development series, said, "When we feel inadequate, we often become inauthentic." When we feel inadequate, we set ourselves up to become a failure. If we tell ourselves that we're not going to get that job or get that scholarship, we probably won't. Our greatest hurdle is most often our own attitude. We alone have the power to make it or break it. Think about the times you told yourself that you just aren't good enough. We can't make varsity because we're just a sophomore. We can't make a better score on that test because we're just not smart enough. We're not pretty enough, not popular enough, not rich enough, not strong enough. The list goes on. When is the last time that you told yourself you are enough. That little voice in the back of our heads is the only one we really listen to. It's time to change our message. Before we face that test, tackle that interview, or face whatever challenge is coming our way, we must remind ourselves that our past experiences will lead to new growth. We will take a deep breath and remind ourselves that we're all the stronger because of our past experiences. We will remind ourselves that we are better because of what we've done in the past, and we'll move back on with our lives. Yes, we will fall, but we will always get back on.
Grace, you've always had a knack for surprising us with the words that you say, and that was no exception this morning. However, your words pose no competition to your action, service, and friendship. Thank you for always keeping us on our toes whenever you're telling a story, and especially when you're driving. It has been a privilege all of my own to serve Kansas FFA members with you this year. Love always, Liz, Clara, Caitlin, Jacob, and Trenton. Kansas FFA, your 2016-2017 Kansas FFA Secretary, Grace Lubke. Please help me in welcoming a few very special people in Grace's life to the stage.
To my administration, thank you for the constant support you have shown me as a student and to our FFA chapter as a whole. Now more than ever, I've come to realize the value of this support. Thank you for allowing each student in Marysville High School to pursue their passions. Kansas FFA, I am proud to present to you my administration. To my advisors, Mr. Lister, I'll be honest, when I first met you as a child, I was afraid of you. But by the time I entered your freshman Intro to Ag class, that intimidation turned into a profound respect. Since then, you've never ceased to push me to work my very hardest and have developed me into the leader I am today. Thank you for your continued investment in me. Mrs. Gabbert, for the first 3 years of my high school career, you served to show me that hard work and dedication speak most about one's character. I was truly sorry to see you leave before my senior year, but I'm glad to see your passion and drive are being instilled in members in your own hometown. Mrs. Meals, although I was only your student for 1 year, it feels like it's been much longer. You served to show me that leading by example is the best way to go, and you've honestly shown me more patience than I probably deserve. Marysville FFA is blessed to have you. Kansas FFA, I'm proud to present to you my advisors, Mr. Craig Lister, Mrs. Jackie Gabbert, and Mrs. Annelle Meals. To my family, David and Henry, although I'm the middle child, I look up to you both in more ways than one. David, following you through high school and now college, sometimes felt like I was living in your shadow, but I've come to realize the value of the good reputation you've set for me. Henry, I admire the fact that you are so approachable and how you know no stranger. You've grown in more ways than one, and I'm proud to call you my little brother. Dad, thank you for being my inspiration. Growing up watching you work tirelessly to care for our farm is the reason for my passion in agriculture. You've always been there to congratulate me when I've done well or to support me when I fall. Thank you. Mom, you're my rock. It always puts me at ease to talk to you after a particularly long or trying day and to know that your words of wisdom will always be there in my life. Thank you for your constant faith in me. I love each of you dearly. Kansas FFA, I'm proud to present to you my parents, John and Diane Lubke,
and bestow upon them their state FFA degree.
Thank you for all you have done for Grace and for allowing her to spend the past year with all of us. Please join me in one final round of applause for Grace's school administrators, advisors, and family. Although I respect the George Strait and Garth Brooks fans in the audience, I have to say that Randy Travis is the greatest country music artist to ever step foot in the Grand Ole Opry. Listening to his songs, I've learned more than a few life lessons, such as, it's not what you take when you leave this world behind you, it's what you leave behind you when you go. When you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light, and hindsight is 20/20. Our next guests have used their hindsight and reflected back upon their experiences with FFA and understand the importance of this organization and what it offers to young people. Here to introduce the members of the Kansas FFA Foundation Board and present some very exciting news is Mr. Tom Hemmer.
Thank you, Trenton. The Kansas FFA Foundation is honored to be a partner to the Kansas FFA Association. The foundation exists to ensure that agriculture education and FFA programming have the financial support it needs to be viable. Each year, the foundation works to support CDEs, Proficiency Awards, SCCL, Leader Lab, State Convention, Educator Development, and other programs. We partner with businesses and individuals who feel passionately about the future of agriculture and our Kansas FFA members. Our goal is to see you succeed in your personal and educational development. Based on the Foundation's strategic plan, we will continue to work in the following 5 areas: youth leadership, scholarship and career development, individual giving, state convention enhancement, and ag education development. Thank you to all the trustees for casting a strategic vision for the foundation moving forward, and special thanks to all the sponsors and donors who make our work possible. One of the highlights of my FFA career was getting to be a national convention delegate back in 1985. That year, the national convention elected a Kansan named Rick Mailer from the Wilson FFA chapter as its national president. And as a delegate from Rick's home state, I was given the honor of making the motion to approve the nominating committee recommendation. I'm pretty sure that I was more nervous than Rick was when he was elected. Today, Rick is an old guy, like sort of my age, and he's a successful entrepreneur in Ohio, having founded a group of restaurants called City Barbecue. And I, 32 years later, have the privilege of making another significant announcement that involves Rick Mailer. Earlier this year, Rick and his wife Bonnie made the largest gift ever to the Kansas FFA Foundation in support of leadership development, career success, and personal growth. Like I said, this is by far the largest gift we've ever received. Rick could not be here today in person, but he did send a video message which we'd like to share with you now.
What started with a single bottle of barbecue sauce has now turned into a successful restaurant business, bringing competition quality barbecue to 4 different states and thousands of hungry guests. City Barbecue was founded by Rick Mailer, a Kansas native who made his way to Columbus, Ohio, where his dream became a reality. The former Kansas FFA president credits the organization for giving him the confidence he needed to become a successful businessman. Always working to serve others and create happiness, City Barbecue was built off the values Rick learned growing up. Our business now has over 1,000 employees and is continuously expanding.
Hello, my name's Rick Mailer. Most of you don't know who I am because I served as the Kansas FFA president in 1983-84, which was before most of you were born. However, over the years, I reflect back, and the FFA program had a major impact on me. It actually scares me to think of where I would be today if it weren't for the FFA leadership programs. Interesting, I came from Wilson, Kansas, Wilson FFA chapter, and I enrolled in ag as a freshman so I could learn how to weld. So Mr. Jim Patry taught me how to weld in the shop, but it was only after that that I learned about all the amazing programs that the FFA offered, and how it did literally change my life. That is why today, my wife Bonnie and I are excited to announce that we want to give back to the Kansas FFA for what it has done for me throughout my life and how it developed me as a young person. So tonight I am very excited to announce that we are giving $1 million to the Kansas FFA Foundation through an endowment. That means that we can start funding scholarships and leadership programs today. And Mary Kane and I have already talked about all the neat programs that we can do and scholarships we can offer through leadership programs in the Kansas FFA. So we can start those today, and then there will be enough money to where it will last forever, and we can always be funding programs indefinitely. So very exciting for Bonnie and I to give this $1 million to the Kansas FFA because it changed my life, it made me a better person, and it's just a chance for us to give back to you. So have a good night.
Thank you, Rick and Bonnie, for the generous gift and the inspirational message. We hope that your example will inspire others to support Kansas FFA. I'd now like to have the Foundation Board of Trustees join me on stage while we share with you a short video that illustrates what your support means to FFA. The Kansas FFA Foundation is made up of people who believe in the positive effects of the Kansas FFA program and want to ensure that future generations of FFA members will have the opportunity to participate in these life-changing experiences. This is our opportunity to thank a fine group of men and women who serve the Kansas FFA Foundation on the Board of Trustees. And I hope I have them in the right order and don't forget anybody. But Elizabeth Meyer, representing the Kansas FFA Association. Jill Caston from Kansas Farm Bureau. Kurt Dillon, State Advisor and from the Kansas Department of Education. Randy Golly from Steel and Pipe Supply in Manhattan. Kevin Harris from Harris Crop Insurance. Kelly Holting, Advisor at Mission Valley FFA. Mary Kane, is Mary with us? She's backstage probably. Mary Kane from the Kansas FFA Association. Greg Krissick from the Kansas Corn Commission, and Greg is the incoming chairman of the Foundation Board. Melanie Mainquist from Purina. Hallie Nett from Cargill Meat Solutions. Troy Sokup from Citizen State Bank and Trust of Ellsworth. Jesse Smith, representing the Kansas FFA alumni. Carl Dawn Stover, from FFA advisor at Ellsworth High School. Dr. John Ulmer from Kansas State University Ag Education. Yancey Wright from John Deere and Company. And Jay Armstrong from Armstrong Farms is a new member of our Board of Trustees. Please join me in welcoming the trustees and thanking them for their service. I would also like to introduce our new FFA Foundation Executive Director, Beth Gaines, who is here. This is her second day on the job. Thank you, Beth, for your commitment to FFA and ag education. This year we extend a special thank you to retiring trustees, John Gillum, Terry Nelson, and Troy Sokup. Thank you all for your service to the FFA Foundation. Kansas FFA members, advisors, alumni, and guests, it's been an honor to serve as your board chairman. Our foundation is moving in the right direction, and we have been blessed with the generous support of so many people. We will continue to work to secure financial support for FFA members and programs. Thank you.
Mr. Himmer, thank you for providing financial resources that allow 9,202 Kansas FFA members to transform their passions and talents into action through their FFA endeavors. It is because of the great impact the FFA Foundation has on the experiences given to Kansas FFA members that my state officer team has decided to carry on the legacy left by previous teams and become two-star sponsors. Mr. Himmer, your leadership and support of our members has been sincerely appreciated. It is a tradition of the Kansas FFA Association to honor retiring chairmen of the Board of Trustees with their Kansas honorary FFA degree. Kansas FFA, please join me in thanking Mr. Himmer and all of the Kansas FFA Foundation Board. The first test of the semester in any class is always the worst one. I always think that I know more than I actually do and don't need to study. My lack of studying typically winds up being a mistake, and in order to get a good grade in the class, I have to adjust my studying habits. Through this experience, I have learned that in order to do well on a test, spending time studying is imperative. These next members that I welcome to the stage have spent hours studying. Their dedication to spending time hitting the books has made them experts in leadership information. They can tell you all about the FFA creed, ritual ceremonies, and proper parliamentary procedure. Madam Secretary, please read the names of the individuals excelling in the leadership information competition.
The top 10 placings in ranking order are: in 10th place, Amy Westerman of the Ellsworth FFA chapter. Also in 10th place is Tell Whitmer of the Holton FFA chapter. In a tie for 8th place is Jessica Burns of the Girard FFA chapter. Also in 8th place is Katie Leibarger of the Anderson County FFA chapter. In 7th place is Hadley Hauser of the Norton FFA chapter. Tying for 4th place is Jim Borgening of the Marysville FFA chapter. Also in 4th place is Leah David of the Norton FFA chapter. In 4th place, Morgan Michael from the Girard FFA chapter. In 3rd place is Michaela Musselman of the Clay Center FFA chapter. In 2nd place is Josh Turner of the Bueller FFA chapter. And the winner of the Leadership Information Competition is Sarah Thomas of the Clay Center FFA chapter. Give our recipients one more giant round of applause. After all the individual scores were tabulated, the top chapter scores were determined. The top 5 chapters in FFA information are: in 5th place, the Holton FFA chapter. In 4th place, the Ellsworth FFA chapter. In 3rd place, the Norton FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Bueller FFA chapter. And in 1st place, the Girard FFA chapter. Let's again recognize these individuals and chapters once again for the knowledge they possess.
Anthony J. D'Angelo once said, "Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow." These next members coming on stage have developed a passion for their supervised agricultural experiences and will continue to grow these programs with the help of the funds provided to them through SAE grants. The dollars awarded to these individuals will be used to further their education as they invest it into their programs to widen their scope and strengthen their current operations. These awards have been made possible by the National FFA Foundation, Animal Health International, Harris Crop Insurance, and the Kansas Department of Agriculture. We are pleased to have Kevin Harris with Harris Crop Insurance and Russell Plashka with the Kansas Department of Agriculture here to present the awards. Madam Secretary, please introduce the individuals who have received SAE grants.
FFA members receiving $1,000 SAE grants are: from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Peyton Horn, Will Johnson, Riley Olson, Maddie Johns, Elizabeth Wright, and Brooklyn Zeller. From the Bueller FFA chapter, Ryan Clam. Representing the Columbus FFA chapter, Candace Inman. Also from the Inman FFA chapter, Katie Crable. From the Marysville FFA chapter, Angela Preble. From the Riverton FFA chapter, Devin Elliott. Representing the Royal Valley FFA chapter, Blake Chance. From the Southern Lyon County FFA chapter, Jose Garcia. And Emma Miller. From the Spring Hill FFA chapter, Michael Dowd. Samantha LeBlanc. Brendan Meek. Jordan Norman. Catherine Schoenberg. From the Valley Heights FFA chapter, Brady Trimble. Join me in congratulating all of our SAE grant recipients as they leave the stage.
I enjoy spending time fishing, but had it not been for someone teaching me how to string my pole, bait my hook, and clean the fish, I would not be able to do it alone. These next individuals we welcome to the stage have dedicated their lives to helping students learn so that they can pursue their passions and become involved with the things that interest them. Kansas agriculture educators spend their days in the classroom, the shop, and the greenhouse teaching their students about our nation's largest industry, giving them skills to use in their chosen occupations, and creating interest in the minds of young adults. Because of their role in making Kansas FFA members successful, we will recognize a few of these outstanding individuals. This morning, here to help us recognize these educators is Mr. Ryan Miller, the Kansas Association of Agriculture Educators President. Madam Secretary, will you please introduce the agricultural educators being recognized today?
I'm pleased to introduce the following educators. From Udall High School, Lauren Van Allen, the KACTE New Teacher of the Year and KAAE Young Member of the Year. From the Mission Valley High School, John Bergen, the KACTE Young Teacher of the Year. From Russell Schools, Jed Sternad, the KACTE Teacher of the Year, KACTE Teacher in Community Service, and KAAE Outstanding Teacher. From the Cherryville High School, Amy Allen and Jay O'Brien, the KAAE Outstanding Program. From the Marion Florence High School, Mark Meyer, the KAAE Mentor Teacher. Let's show our appreciation to the outstanding agricultural education teachers in Kansas with one final round of applause.
We lead the change we want to see with our grit, honor, and integrity. We turn purpose into action, catalyst that sparks a reaction. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside as a passion that drives us. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside as a passion that drives us. Transform FFA. Transform FFA.
As a small child, we all learn how to convey our thoughts through words. When our parents get tired of hearing us talk, they send us to school. Here, we learn how to write. These next members have learned to write and do it very well. Their ability to put ideas into words and their passion for agriculture and education have earned them top honors in this year's Kansas Association of Agriculture Educators Essay Contest. Madam Secretary, please introduce the members who have won top honors for their essay entries.
The KAAE essay winners in ranking order are: in 10th place is Cassidy Finley from the Mound Ridge FFA chapter. In 9th is Jacob Chalfin of the Atchison County FFA chapter. Receiving 8th is Marissa Looney of the Southern Coffee County FFA chapter. In 7th is Kyle Mendenhall from the Buhler FFA chapter. In 6th is Ethan Stewart from the Southern Coffee County FFA chapter. Earning 5th is Daisy Beck from the Buhler FFA chapter. In 4th is Caitlin Zlab of the Southern Coffee County FFA chapter. In 3rd is Mallory Keltz from the Labette County FFA chapter. Placing 2nd is Rebecca Kane from the Mission Valley FFA chapter. And earning 1st place in the KAAE essay contest is Megan Nelson from the Chapman FFA chapter. Let's extend one round of congratulations to all of our KAAE essay winners.
Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, a passion that drives us. Transform FFA. Transform FFA.
As FFA members, we learn to do and do to learn. The FFA motto is a clear reflection of our belief that we learn best from our own experiences. This next guest has had a few experiences of her own as she has worn this same blue jacket that we are. She has learned and now helps FFA members understand the importance of living with passion, loving others, and being secretly incredible. Please join me in welcoming the 2016-2017 National FFA Eastern Region Vice President, Ashley Willits, for some special remarks.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. How are we doing this morning? All right. Let's give it up for the state staff and the state officers who have worked so hard to put this convention together. I am so excited to be here in Kansas for the very first time, and while in Kansas, I've had some pretty awesome firsts. I had my first varsity donut. All right. And it's been the first time that I've gotten to talk to some pretty incredible FFA members. While I've been having all these firsts in Kansas, I started to think back to one of the best firsts of my entire life. The very first day of school. You see, in the 6th grade, I transferred schools in my sophomore year, I transferred schools so that I could go to a school with an agriculture education program. I had gotten pretty comfortable at my old school, so the very first day at my new school, I was bound and determined to make it perfect. I would spend the entire summer thinking about that very first day of school. Every single time we went to the mall, I would try to find the very perfect first day of school outfit. I spent hours deciding which type of hairstyle would I go with, and I would do really silly things like stand in front of the mirror and practice introducing myself. I thought about things like, would I be the loud kid in the front of the room with all the answers? Or would I be the really shy, quiet kid in the back of the room that just didn't say much? Whatever was going to happen that very first day of school, I was going to make it perfect. And then it came. It was the first day of school. I was like Nemo was on the first day of school, where he was like, it's the first day of school, it's the first day of school. That's exactly how I was, running through the house, getting ready, and when I went and hopped into my dad's truck, it all set in. The very first day of school. On that 10-minute drive to school, all I could do was think about how I was going to make that day perfect. We pulled into the school parking lot, got out of my dad's truck, and I walked up to the front doors. As I opened the doors and looked in, first days of school, they are a pretty big deal. You know, it seems like we care a whole lot more about our attitude on the first day of school and the words we say to other people, and we care a lot more about what people think about our reactions and our actions in the situations that we're placed in. But could you imagine if we started to live every single day like it was the first day of school? Could you imagine how much more intentional we would be about the way we viewed ourselves, the attitude that we had toward ourselves, the words we said to other people and how those words made them feel, and probably most importantly, the actions and the reactions that we had in situations that we were placed in? Now, I grew up in northern New York. So when I say New York, a lot of people are like, oh, you're from New York City. No, folks, the closest city to me is one in Canada. I'm about 30 minutes south of the Canadian border. So when you grow up 30 minutes south of the Canadian border, you learn to love snow real fast. You see, the town that I grew up in holds the world record for the most snow in the continental U.S. in any given winter. And when you grow up in that town, you love skiing real fast because that's about there's all to do during the winter. And when you're competitive, you'll learn to love skiing even faster because you don't want your older brother to be better than you. It was the day my dad took my older brother Ryan and I to our very first real ski mountain. Now, I say real ski mountain because Ryan and I had been skiing at what seemed like little hills by our house. We hopped into my dad's truck and we took off on the 4-hour drive to Pennsylvania to go on a real ski trip. On the 4-hour drive there, my brother Ryan turned to me and he said, "You know, Ashley, today I am going to conquer the double black diamond." What, Ryan? You're doing the double black diamond today? Now, how many skiers do we have in the room? All right. So let me break it down for you. When you go skiing, there are certain symbols and colors that determine how hard a hill is. If you see a hill labeled the Bunny Hill, turns out it is just a bump in the ground. You are probably not going to spend a lot of time on the Bunny Hill. Blue squares, those hills get a little bit harder. They're about the size of an average sledding hill. Green circles, progressively harder. But when you get to the black diamonds and the double black diamonds, that's the real deal. You see, a double black diamond, that's like the hills that you see the Olympic skiers in the Olympics skiing down. These are like the holy grail of skiing hills. And if you could conquer a double black diamond, you could pretty much conquer anything in the world. That day, Ryan was going to go down that hill. So naturally, I was going to too. When we got to the ski lift, we started riding up. Not showing that I was nervous, I was talking the talk, and hopefully I was about to walk the walk. As this chairlift got higher, coincidentally, the mountain bottom seemed to get farther and farther and farther. As we got to the top, my brother turned to me and said, "See you at the bottom, Ashley." "Yeah, Ryan, okay, see you at the bottom." I watched as Ryan made perfect S-turns all the way down the hill. So I stood at the top of the hill, and I did what any brave and confident skier would do. I gave myself a good old-fashioned pep talk. "All right, Ashley, you can do this. You're a great skier. Ryan just did it, so you can do it too. I mean, why couldn't you? Girls rule. You got this." Took a deep breath, snapped down my goggles, and I made my first S-turn. Whew, it was perfect. Turns out I might actually have this. So I go into my second turn. I round the corner, and then I head over heels and skis overhead and roll all the way down the hill. I ended up sliding down that entire hill on my butt. As I got to the bottom of the hill, I sat there. I threw my poles to the ground, my brother skied over to me, and I remember looking at him and saying, if you could do this, why couldn't I? I must be the worst skier in the whole world. This is the dumbest sport I've ever done. I am never skiing again. I hate skiing because I'm not as good as you. We do this all the time. Maybe it's not in skiing, but we always compare the things we can't do to the things other people can do. And when we do that, we start to base our value and our self-worth off of that. We start to see ourselves as less than because we can't do what other people can do. But here's the deal. If we're living every single day like it's the first day of school, we're being intentional about the attitude that we have, and we're being intentional about the attitude that we have toward ourselves. We need to stop comparing what we can't do to what other people can do. Because we were created to be special. We were created to be unique. We have talents that nobody else can bring to the table, and we have to start being proud of that. That's the first step of being intentional, and that's the first step of living every single day like it's the first day of school. But we have to make sure that our actions match the way that we view ourselves. Let me take you back to the 6th grade. The 6th grade, it was the life. We started to use the big lockers in the high school hallways, the ones with the combinations. We started to be able to switch classes, and we got our very own planners to keep track of our schedule. 6th grade me thought that was pretty cool. I had a great group of friends. Oh, and not to mention, I had my very first crush. Travis Clark, man, he was a dreamer. He was smart and funny and athletic and kind. And oh yeah, Travis and I, we were gonna get married someday. You see, I practically had my whole life planned out with Travis Clark. Hold that thought. Who in here likes movies? Any movie lovers? Let's hear it. All right. Who's ever seen the movie Transformers? All right, who are some actors or actresses in Transformers? Megan Fox. After this session, we will pull out our phones and we will Google a picture of Megan Fox's thumbs. You see, Megan Fox and I have the very same thumbs. They're kind of short and stubby and weird. In fact, some people commonly refer to them as toe thumbs. Weird? Yes. True? Also yes. Remember that really strange fact about my thumbs as I continue to tell you about the 6th grade. Seems like any other day, I walked into the 6th grade and went to sit by one of my best friends at the time, Summer. Sat down, and Summer kind of looked at me, and you could tell she did not want anything to do with me. That's weird. Maybe Summer's just having a bad day. Go find some other friends to sit by. Sat down, and my friends started to look at me and then whisper and then look at me. And it's that like look and whisper where you're like, hey, I know you're talking about me. Right here, you're talking about me. I figured out that there was a rumor started about me. All those whispers were that rumor, and I was bound and determined to figure out what that rumor was. Finally, somebody told me why I had been getting strange looks all day long. Someone had started a rumor about me that if you looked at Ashley or touched Ashley or talked to Ashley or were Ashley's friend, you would get the disease that made her thumbs look the way they do, and you would probably die. Because that actually can happen. When I figured out that there had been a rumor started about me, I couldn't believe it. Travis Clark, he was never going to date Thumb Girl. My life was over. Travis Clark was never going to fall in love with me. I'm going to die alone with 65 cats. My happily ever after is ruined forever. Being the stubborn and determined girl that I sometimes could be, I wanted to figure out who started that rumor and crush it in its tracks. All day I asked who started the rumor. I went around to friends and tried to get the dirt on that rumor, and then finally, I figured it out. I figured out who started that rumor about me. Travis Clark. Travis Clark made up the rumor that I was Thumb Girl. You see, Travis Clark cracked that joke 9 years ago. 9 years ago, and I still remember exactly what Travis Clark said, and more importantly, how Travis made me feel. Because that's the deal, folks. Our words have power. The words that we choose to say have an impact on the lives of other people. We can make the choice to use our words so that people remember them 9 years later in a negative way, or to make the choice so that we use those words in a positive way to uplift others, to show them the value that they have. If we're living every single day like it's the first day of school, we're being intentional about the words that we choose to use. We're using our words in a positive way and in a way that will make a positive difference in the lives of others. Our words have shelf life. Our words stick with other people for longer than we may ever know. So before we crack a joke to our friends or say something without thinking, we need to take a step back. We need to take a deep breath. We need to think about the words that we're saying before they actually come out of our mouth. If we're living every single day like it's the first day of school, we're having a positive attitude and we're using our words positively, but we need to make sure our actions and our reactions match the words that we're saying. And there is no better day that I learned this lesson than a cool summer day at the end of August. See, I had just gotten home from an internship at Fair Oaks Farms out in Indiana. I hadn't been home with my family all summer long. So when I got home, I wanted to do the one thing that my family and I always do together: go camping. We had driven to the campsite that we have hundreds of times. So my brother hopped in my dad's brand new F-150. Any Ford lovers in the room? Let's hear it. Any Ford lovers? All right, F-150, pretty good, brand new. Keep that in mind. He hopped into the brand new truck. I hopped into my car behind him, and we took off toward our campsite. My brother is driving, and I'm following. I'm taking in the sights and the sounds, talking to my little brother in the passenger seat. Man, I am loving being home. My brother's driving, and I'm driving. We had taken the same route to this campsite every single time we had gone. So why should today be any different? Ryan's driving, I'm going straight. Ryan starts turning, I'm still going straight, turning straight, bam! My car crashed into the side of my dad's brand new F-150. Don't worry, it was only about $12,000 worth of damage. As I got out of the car, my dad had arrived to see the work I had done. I got out and I looked at the damage on my dad's truck and my car, and I looked at my dad, and my dad looked at me and then looked at the truck. I did what any brave girl would do when they see their dad in that kind of situation. I looked right at him, straight in the eyes, and I said, "Dad, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did that. I'm the worst daughter ever. I'm going to move out of the house. I'm the horrible. You probably hate me. I just ruined your truck. I ruined your life. Everything's awful." And he said, "Ashley, stop crying. It is not helping anything." And I remember it clear as day because he said, "Ashley, I'm about to go back to the campsite and cook dinner. Would you like a steak or a hot dog?" Dad, you're asking me if I want a steak or a hot dog? Do you see the damage on your truck? Turned back to my dad and I said, Okay, Dad, you're probably right. Crying's not going to do anything, but you're asking me if I want a steak or a hot dog, and I feel like I deserve a hot dog, but I want a steak, and I'm the worst daughter ever, and I should probably just move out, and you hate me, and this is awful, and Ashley, stop crying. It is not helping anything. You see, while I was crying and carrying on, my dad was doing things that actually mattered, like assessing the damage on the truck, making plans to call the insurance company. My dad had every single right to be mad at me. He probably had every single right to yell at me. But my dad made a choice that day. He made a choice to be intentional about the way he reacted in a situation that was way less than ideal. We can do that every single day of our lives. If we're living every single day like it is the first day of school, we're being so intentional and so careful about the way that we're acting and reacting to the people around us and in the situations that we're in. Imagine how many fights with our best friends could have been avoided if before we said and did what we wanted to do in the heat of the moment, we took a step back and we assessed the situation. Imagine how many late nights cramming on that final project could have been avoided if, when our teacher assigned us the project, instead of writing it off to the last minute and thinking we could get it done in the last 2 days, we took a step back, we made a plan, we thought about what we were going to do before we actually did it. If we're living every single day like it's the first day of school, we have to make sure we are thinking before we act. But if you're looking for someone that is absolutely perfect at this, I'm going to be the first one to admit you should probably look somewhere else. See, I have messed up, I've done things and said things that I regret more times than I care to admit. But living every single day like it's the first day of school is not about getting it right every single time. It is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional and being mindful of what we do. Being mindful about the attitude that we have, the words that we're saying, and the reactions and actions that we have in any situation that we're placed in. You see, we are probably going to mess up. We are probably going to say and do things we don't mean. But living every single day like it's the first day of school is holding ourselves to a standard of intention over perfection. It's realizing that the things we do have impact, and it's apologizing when we mess up. It's thinking about what we're going to say before we actually say it. It's about being intentional over being always worried if we are perfect people. Let me take you back to the first day of my sophomore year. Stood there with the doors open, and as I looked through, took a deep breath and I took the first step. That first day, it was pretty good. I got compliments on the outfit that I had worked all summer to plan. I even made some friends, and the cute boy in Spanish class even talked to me. I made friends that first day of school that I still talk to today. But the first day of school looked a whole lot different than the 20th, and the 100th, and the 130th day of school. The difference is that on those days of school, I was nowhere near as intentional as I was on the first day of school. You see, instead of picking out the perfect outfit, I started to do things like grab the first pair of jeans I found in my dresser and throw my hair up in a messy bun. Girls, let me hear it if we've done that before. Boys, for you guys, this might look like just grabbing the first pair of jeans, throwing a ball cap on, not changing our clothes after we left the barn. Let me hear it if we've done that before. And we do that because we get comfortable in the situations that we're in. And don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with being comfortable and loving the situation you're in, but when that starts going wrong is when we forget about being intentional because we're so comfortable. We forget about having a positive attitude and being intentional about the words we say and thinking before we act. We start doing things that we regret. You see, there are 365 days in a year. So that means we have 365 days to live every single day like it's the first day of school. Kansas FFA, join me in being intentional about the positive attitudes that we have for ourselves, the positive words we say to others, and the positive actions and reactions in the situations that we have around us. But above all else, join me in being intentional about holding ourselves to that standard of intention over perfection. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this message.
Ashley, thank you for your service to FFA members across the nation. Your passion for life and love for others has been felt on your stay here in Kansas. It is no secret that you are incredible. Thank you for the words that you've shared with us this morning. Please accept this gift as a token of our appreciation.
Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside us, a passion that drives us. Transform FFA. Transform FFA.
Spending hours in the greenhouse planting, selling flats of vegetable crops to customers, and working in the blistering heat to finish a landscape job or fix an irrigation leak taught me more than I could have ever learned in a classroom. Through my supervised agricultural experience, I learned how to work with the public, all about the growing patterns of plants and the ins and outs of an irrigation system. The next members coming on stage have also demonstrated a tremendous amount of learning in their SAE programs. With the help of their advisors, they have developed strong SAE programs that have helped them do to learn and earn to live. Let's turn our attention to center stage as we recognize the first half of this year's Kansas Proficiency Award winners.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Communications Proficiency Award is Haley Bollinger from the Eureka FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Farmer Magazine. Haley's SAE is with Quick Draw Design, a design and marketing business in Eureka. She manages website databases and social media accounts for several businesses and helps with photo shoots and other jobs around the office. Haley has learned how to better operate the technology she uses on the job, as well as improved her organization and planning skills. After graduation, Haley plans to attend Butler Community College to pursue a degree in agricultural business. Haley is the daughter of Brad and Anissa Bollinger. Her advisor is Amanda Strickler. Congratulations, Haley.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Education Proficiency Award is Mallory Keltz from the Labette County FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by the Larry Gosen family and the Harmon Bliss family. Through volunteering work and partnering with organizations like Labette County Farm Bureau, Mallory has spent time in her SAE teaching children about the importance of agriculture through games and activities. One of her major accomplishments was learning to create educational material that invites others to have fun while they are learning. After graduating high school, Mallory plans to pursue a degree in education from College of the Ozarks. Mallory is the daughter of Kevin and Stephanie Keltz. Her advisors are Jeff Falkenstein, Dustin Wiley, and Kyle Zwalin. Way to go, Mallory!
This year's winner of the Agricultural Mechanics Design and Fabrication Proficiency Award is Remington Talley from the Eureka FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Abilene Machine. Remington works as a welding assistant for a local rancher. His main job responsibilities include creating gates for livestock pens, installing fence, and repairing equipment on the ranch. Remington has not only improved his welding skills to his SAE, but he's also worked on his designing skills, which allow him to create blueprints he uses for his projects. Remington plans to attend Tarleton State University after high school. Remington is the son of John and Lori Talley. His advisor is Amanda Strickler. Well done, Remington.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Mechanics Repair and Maintenance Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Trevor Taylor from the Doniphan West FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Vivek. Trevor's SAE is restoring a 1957 Oliver Super 77 tractor. His interest in his SAE started when he watched his dad and grandfather purchase restored antique tractors. Through his SAE, Trevor has learned more about mechanical systems, as well as gaining a better understanding of technical reading and writing. One of Trevor's greatest challenges has been finding the right parts and research what resources he will need in advance. After graduation, Trevor plans to obtain a degree in agronomy, then return to the family farm. Trevor is the son of Howard and Shelley Taylor. His advisor is Elmer Schmitz. Let's give Trevor a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Mechanics Repair and Maintenance Placement Proficiency Award is Diedrich Bolte from the Beloit FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by CanEquip. Diedrich's SAE is with Bolte Repair, where he performs general maintenance on farm equipment. While he started out his SAE gathering tools and preparing machines for repair, Diedrich's responsibilities have grown to include assisting in repairs and even overhauling an engine. He is also constantly learning about new technologies and equipment so he can be prepared to work on them. After graduating high school, Diedrich plans to attend North Central Kansas Technical College in the Agriculture Equipment Technology program. Diedrich is the son of Jim and Alicia Bolte. His advisor is Brandon Calloway. Great job, Diedrich.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Processing Proficiency Award is Taylor Lexo from the Chapman FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Ag Processing Incorporated. Taylor's SAE involves working at her local grocery store, filling a variety of roles, including customer service and keeping track of the store's inventory. What started as a part-time job has now helped Taylor better understand how a business runs and has developed her communication and customer relations skills. After graduation, Taylor plans to obtain a degree in agribusiness from Kansas State University. Taylor is the daughter of Lynn and Vixie Lexo. Her advisors are Johanna Reichert and Alex Jost. Congratulations, Taylor.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Sales Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Emily Glenn from the Scott City FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Farmway Co-op. For her SAE, Emily operates Glenn's Show Feeds. Inheriting the business from her brother, Emily markets and sells her line of feed to customers in southwest Kansas. She has been able to successfully promote and grow the business's brand, bringing in new customers and staying profitable. Emily has become skilled in record keeping and has learned about the livestock industry she sells her feed to. After graduation, Emily plans to attend Garden City Community College and later transfer to Kansas State University. Emily is the daughter of Roger and Tony Glenn. Her advisor is Dale Jessup. Let's give Emily a great round of applause.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Sales Placement Proficiency Award is Maggie Cruz from the Sabetha FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission. For her SAE, Maggie works at Orschland's Farm and Home. While her role was limited to cleaning and stocking shelves when she first started, Maggie has now become trained as a cashier and now works to make sure that the store's inventory is stocked and helps plan the layout of the store. She says that being a part of the team at the store makes her SAE a rewarding experience and has helped her develop skills that she can use in the future. Maggie plans to attend Peru State College and pursue a degree in business management and accounting. Maggie is the daughter of Jamie and Terry Cruz. Her advisor is Chris Bowerly. Way to go, Maggie.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Services Proficiency Award is Jeremy Hett from the Marion Florence FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Farm Credit Associations of Kansas. For his SAE, Jeremy owns and operates his own tree cutting business. He makes all of his own business decisions, which includes purchasing chemicals and finding clients in the area that need his services. He also moves and operates his own equipment. Jeremy said that a major takeaway from his SAE was the development of time and money management skills. After graduation, he hopes to use the money earned from his SAE to help pay for college. Jeremy is the son of Dawn and Dawn Hett. His advisor is Mark Meyer. Let's give Jeremy a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Agri-Science Research Integrated Systems Proficiency Award is Tegan Maxson from the Labette County FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Friends of the Kansas FFA. Tegan operates a drone which she uses to scout crop fields. The drone takes detailed images of the fields which transfer directly to Tegan's tablet. She is able to use these images to observe plant health and check for the presence of weeds. Tegan hopes to extend this service to local crop producers and continue her research at her FFA chapter's school farm. After graduating high school, Tegan plans to attend Oklahoma State University. Tegan is the daughter of Ty and Teresa Maxson. Her advisors are Jeff Falkenstein, Dustin Wiley, and Kyle Zwallen. Great job, Tegan!
This year's winner of the Agri-Science Research Plant Systems Proficiency Award is Heather Smith from the Labette County FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by DuPont Pioneer. For her SAE, Heather collects data at her FFA chapter's farm. With the help of local producers and ag businesses, corn was planted and tested on different qualities such as seed population and planting depth to see how they affected the plant's growth rate. Heather has gained extensive knowledge about row crop production and plans to continue her research with different tests. After graduating high school, she hopes to attend Kansas State University. Heather is the daughter of Sean and Kim Smith. Her advisors are Jeff Falkenstein, Dustin Wiley, and Kyle Zwallen. Congratulations, Heather!
This year's winner of the Beef Production Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Tanner Walden from the Tonganoxie FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Sam and Janet Hands. Tanner raises cattle that he presents in livestock shows. He is responsible for feeding the cattle, detecting heat, and checking on the health of the calving cows. Tanner also makes mating decisions for his herd and works with an AI program to ensure the right genetics. One of his accomplishments is the development of an embryo transfer program that he uses with his cattle. After high school, Tanner would like to compete on a livestock judging team in college and obtain a degree in agribusiness. Tanner is the son of Todd and Amy Walden. His advisor is Shelby Siemens. Let's give Tanner a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Beef Production Placement Proficiency Award is Ryan Stewart from the Washington County FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by McPherson County Feeders. Ryan's SAE involves working for 3 cow-calf operations and a livestock auction market. Ryan is involved with all phases of producing the cattle, including baling winter feed and planting cover crops for grazing. He also uses his technology skills to help market the cattle by designing promotional material. After graduation, Ryan plans to pursue a degree at Manhattan Area Technical College before returning home to work on the family farm. Ryan is the son of Rodney and Kennette Stewart. His advisor is John Kern. Congratulations, Ryan.
This year's winner of the Dairy Production Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Mallory Deppenbush from the Udall FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Dairy Commission. Mallory's SAE began with showing a Jersey heifer at her county fair. After enjoying the experience and gaining knowledge about showing techniques, she attended other livestock shows, including the Kansas State Fair. She personally prepares the cows' feed rations and sets up the equipment for milking. Mallory hopes to pass on the knowledge that she has gained to others who are interested in the dairy industry. She hopes to attend college to continue learning about the dairy industry and larger dairy operations. Mallory is the daughter of Craig and Rhonda Deppenbush. Her advisor is Lauren Van Allen. Let's give Mallory a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Dairy Production Placement Proficiency Award is Oliver Schmitz from the Axtell FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Dairy Commission. Oliver's SAE consists of working on his family's dairy farm, which sells grade A milk, cull cows, bull calves, and commercial breeding bulls. Growing up on the farm, his involvement grew as he got older and his older siblings left for college. His responsibilities now include milking setup and cleanup, checking animal health, and transporting silage. After graduation, Oliver plans to go to Kansas State University for a degree in agricultural technology management. Oliver is the son of Joseph and Amy Schmitz. His advisor is Kristen Strothman. Congratulations, Oliver.
This year's winner of the Diversified Agricultural Production Proficiency Award is Tyler Phillips from the Mission Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Triangle H. Tyler works for TAP Farms, which farms 4,000 acres of row crops, 1,000 acres of alfalfa, and 150 head of cattle. He also owns his own operation and rents approximately 670 acres of land for the production of brome grass, prairie hay, and grain. Tyler has been able to grow his SAE to the point where he has purchased his own equipment and is producing more hay, which has allowed his family's cattle operation to grow in the process. Tyler currently attends Fort Scott Community College to obtain a degree in farm and ranch management. Tyler is the son of Thomas and Amy Phillips. His advisors are John Bergen and Kelly Holting. Great job, Tyler. This year's winner of the Diversified Crop Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Alec Royer from the Haven FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Corn Commission. Alec farms 30 acres in partnership with his grandfather. He plants a rotation of wheat and soybeans, eventually rotating in grain sorghum as well. Alec's role on the farm has grown over time to the point where he now makes all of the decisions for the plot, including planting dates and fertilizer application rates. His SAE has taught him the value of record keeping and time management, and he has also learned about better farming practices. Alec plans to attend Hutchinson Community College with plans to transfer to Kansas State University. Alec is the son of Bill and Kelly Royer. His advisors are Corenia Williams, Steve Duft, and Jeremiah Hobbs. Way to go, Alec.
This year's winner of the Diversified Crop Production Placement Proficiency Award is Austin Taylor from the Donovan West FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Crop Improvement Association. Austin works for Taylor Seed Farms, a business owned by his dad and uncles. He mainly assists with the family's row crop operation, which raises corn, wheat, and soybeans. Austin operates the planter and combine and has recently been involved in making business decisions for the farm. He mentors his younger brother, teaching him valuable skills that he can also use on the farm. Austin plans to attend Highland Community College and later transfer to Kansas State University to pursue a degree in agronomy. Austin is the son of Jason and Marla Taylor. His advisor is Elmer Schmitz. Great job, Austin.
This year's winner of the Diversified Horticulture Proficiency Award is Dawson Miner from the Fort Scott FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Hummert International. With a riding mower and a weed eater that he borrowed from his parents, Dawson started clover mowing and landscaping in 2012. The business became his SAE and has grown to service over 30 lawns and cemeteries. He has made the business profitable and always tries to go the extra mile for his customers. Dawson has learned valuable skills in business management, as well as proper maintenance and care for his equipment. He plans to attend the John Deere Tech program at Fort Scott Community College after high school. Dawson is the son of Robert and Linda Miner. His advisors are Tara Losey and Kyle Parks. Let's give Dawson a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Diversified Livestock Production Proficiency Award is Megan Newlin from the Hugoton FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by McPherson County Feeders. For her SAE, Megan raises horses, cattle, swine, and sheep. With raising a variety of animals, she has become knowledgeable in many areas of animal care. Megan exercises the animals, measures out feed rations, and also doctors sick animals with the help of her local veterinarian. She uses her experiences to help teach others about the equine and livestock industries. After high school, Megan plans to attend college and earn a degree in animal science or agribusiness. Megan is the daughter of Jeff and Vicki Newlin. Her advisor is Les McNally. Great job, Megan.
This year's winner of the Environmental Science and Natural Resources Management Proficiency Award is Alexandra Clark from the Holton FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Midwest Ford Dealers. Beginning with recycling for area residents and businesses, Alex's SAE grew into learning more about natural resource conservation and starting an internship with the local conservation district. Alex has helped conduct fieldwork for the district and has also presented at local meetings about water quality. After graduation, Alex plans to pursue a degree in agronomy from Kansas State University. Alex is the daughter of Jason and Jennifer Larison. Her advisors are Jason Larison and Alex Bartle. Congratulations, Alex.
These members have shown us what it means to do to learn as they transformed their supervised agricultural experiences. They have shown that they believe in the diversity of agriculture and the future of Kansas FFA. Members and supporters of the Kansas FFA Association should be extremely proud of the accomplishments of these members and their SAE programs. Each of these proficiency winners will be representing Kansas this fall at the 90th National FFA Convention. Please join me in congratulating all of our Proficiency Award winners for their efforts.
We lead the change we want to see with our grit, honor, and integrity. We turn purpose into action, catalyst that sparks a reaction. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside as a passion that drives. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside as a passion that drives. So transform FFA. Transform FFA. Transform.
Be sure to check out the Hall of Achievement in the lobby to see Kansas FFA members and chapters who have transformed their service to the agriculture industry with our Model of Innovation chapter, national proficiency winners, and national proficiency finalists who represented Kansas last year at National Convention. The second general session of the 89th Kansas FFA Convention has been a blast. Thanks for joining me on this fishing excursion where we learned all about agriculture and FFA here in the state of Kansas. The dedication our members have to learn and grow is truly amazing. Now, to help us reel in our lines, I call upon Kansas FFA President Elizabeth Meyer to assume the duties of the chair.
Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
Yes, I do, Madam President. For those chapters participating in the Pop Tab Challenge, don't forget to pick up your buckets and containers from the McCain loading dock. Also, discussion meet finals will be taking place in the K-State Union Big 12 room at 10 o'clock a.m., followed by the extemporaneous public speaking finals at 11 a.m. Prepared public speaking finals will also be in the K-State Student Union Big 12 room starting at 1 o'clock p.m. Make sure to head over to the Leadership Studies building where the SAE Fair will be taking place. The third session of the Kansas FFA Convention will start at 2 p.m. today. We'll recognize the second half of our Proficiency Award winners, honor the sponsors who make this convention possible, present awards to the chapters and individuals who have excelled in the scrapbook competition, employability skills leadership development event, and the growing leaders portion of the National Chapter Award. Presidential and career and technical education scholars will be recognized, as well as those members receiving FFA scholarships. And last but not least, we'll have the chance to hear from Dr. Michael Wesch of the Kansas State University and your 2016-2017 Kansas FFA Vice President, Clara Wyckoff, in the delivery of her retiring address.
Thank you. Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this session? We are about to adjourn this second session of the 89th Kansas FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I now declare this session adjourned.
We lead the change we want to see with our grit, honor, and integrity. We turn purpose into action, catalyst that sparks a reaction. Transforming our world, we are the leaders of change. It starts inside